Dr. Glenn Schaefer, San Carlos Chiropractic. Well, today I want to talk to you about a couple of things. I know for many of you, you think, boy, I can't incorporate exercise into my busy day. And maybe you just have a fear, or you just don't want to get into the gym and do that whole thing. Well, what I try to teach my patients is that we can incorporate different aspects of exercise into our daily routine. Today I'm going to show you one that I kind of came up with recently. I've been out fishing a couple of times, out in the Gulf. We went way out, and the next couple of days after that, I realized that I have a hip that gives me a little bit of stiffness and trouble. And I said, that always seems to feel better after I've been out in a day fishing. And I theorized that just that motion of the boat and constantly changing my posture and stressing my balance as the boat moved was a great help to the muscles of my hip. So I thought, there are certain things that I do each and every day where I have to stand, and one of them is taking notes. Notes on my patients. So I got a wobble board and put it right here. The staff just loves it because they laugh at me as I sit on my wobble board and I do my notes. But it's a good example of working on my balance, working on my postural muscles while I'm doing something that I do each and every day. While I'm here at work for hours, I'll be doing notes at this particular spot. So there's a lot of things that many of us do each and every day that can help us. This is a simple little board, wobble board. If you get a hold of me on email, I can tell you a little bit more about this. Balance is one of the 4 key components of exercise. We have strength, endurance, balance, and flexibility. Balance and flexibility are the 2 that most people kind of forget about. They don't do enough stretching, and as you get a little bit older, we forget about our balance. There's a neuromuscular mechanism in there that has to be kind of trained, and you have to stress it, and that's part of working on your balance. But I wanted to talk about that and the wobble board. There's many different aspects of this wobble board. From very inexpensive, you can use actually a very thick piece of foam that stresses your balance a little bit, or you can get something a little more sophisticated like a wobble board to work on that. But the other part of it that I think is really, really important is how can we incorporate exercise, real key component to overall well-being, into our daily routine. When you think maybe you sit at a desk all day, gosh, how can I do that? Well, there are some ways to kind of work it in so that we can get certain aspects of exercise. I kind of work it into every part of my day. I do some different stretches when I'm doing certain things. I now do the wobble board when I'm doing certain things. I do walking while I'm doing certain things to try to work on my overall fitness and well-being. You can reach me on my website, drglennschaefer.com, obviously here on Facebook. We're on Instagram also. And we have weekly podcast, Coffee with the Doc, found on iTunes and SoundCloud. But if you really want to come in, you have some questions about your overall well-being, you're just wondering, gee, how can I get well? I'm in that middle age, I'm struggling, I feel like I'm overweight, and my fitness level has dropped down, and you just can't get over that hump. Give us a call, 239-267-3133. I'd love to sit down with you, talk about your health, and see if we can't get you on a road to a more vibrant life.